Hello everyone, this is Satoshi Nakamoto speaking. I am the creator of Bitcoin.
Hello everyone, welcome to a special edition of our show, The Greatest Blockchain Mysteries Never Solved. As its name suggests, this program will unravel strange mysteries in the blockchain world. Before you go on watching this video any further, I'd like to warn you that the phenomena which we will discuss in this program is guaranteed to haunt you forever. So, if you think that you wouldn't be able to cope with all the scariness of the program, I'd advise you to just change your channel right now. In this episode, we will talk about the scariest topic in the blockchain world. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? The man who invented Bitcoin in 2008 through an academic paper he had published has never revealed his face in public. In 2011, he created an even bigger mystery by suddenly disappearing from the public, becoming virtually out of reach. Many people have made bold claims about who Nakamoto could possibly be. Some are actually quite sure that Nakamoto is none other than Nick Szabo, an American computer scientist who invented the smart contract in 1994. The claim suffers from a lack of strong backing evidence, and Szabo himself has denied that he was Nakamoto. Lots of people have also claimed that the Japanese-American computer scientist Dorian Nakamoto is the real Satoshi. Similarly, the man has denied these claims, saying he's not the founder of Bitcoin. Then recently, an Australian computer scientist named Craig Wright claimed he was Nakamoto, which was also doubted by many people due to the weak evidence he used to back his claim. Yet, the man has gone to great lengths to get his right of being recognized as Nakamoto, including taking his case to a UK court in order to get the copyright to Bitcoin. This kind of reminds us of the case of Anna Anderson, who died in 1994. She claimed that she was actually the lost Russian princess Anastasia. Nobody knows what has happened to the man, Nakamoto. Maybe he's still alive, maybe he has already been murdered by the Wall Street wolves who felt threatened by his invention of cryptocurrencies, maybe he's been abducted by an alien. Nobody knows. So in order to talk about the curious case of Nakamoto, today I will talk to our blockchain psychic, Roberto Capodieci. Okay, so what do you think could possibly happen to Satoshi Nakamoto when he suddenly disappeared in 2011?
Well, I think that what has been done with Bitcoin is being such revolutionary, yet not accepted by the community at the time. It was the moment that there has been a big collapse in the financial system in 2008. And a lot of people were trying to do digital money, digital golds, obviously in centralized servers. So the authority went to shut them down, and they got legal problems. So it's obvious that when somebody launched something, without knowing that it was going to become so big, but in the intent to do something that is such international currency that cannot be stopped for his own safety, it would be better off of disappearing, if you want, after making sure that the things got his own life.
Okay, and I'm also interested in the connection between the creation of Bitcoin and the 2008 financial crash, particularly triggered by the property bubble in the US, right? So was it because people would like to create an alternative system to the fragile economic system at that time?
Yeah, I'm not an expert on finance, but surely the fact that a lot of banks being bailed out from the trouble that they caused anger a lot of people that understood finance, and the intent was the one to create a currency that cannot be controlled. So inflation, the fraction would be natural, not something that is generated by printing more money or by moving money in direction that are not the supposed one. And many people been trying to do these things in many forms, and also there has been historically times where city or municipality printed their own mini money, mini banknotes, or mini checks to supply the population with a tool that is not the main currency provided by the country. Based on legislation and nation, this is less or more allowed. Obviously, when you think that a coffee card can be used to pay off a debt with a friend because he's going to anyway buy the coffee card, or an Amazon gift card is used as a currency if you want today. The idea was that something that has no ownership and no printing mint behind, that is electronic and people will manage, was a very good response, and it showed that it's been after all.
Yeah, and then to dig deeper on the subject of Nakamoto's contribution, so what was his contribution to the development of decentralized technology and blockchain and decentralized finance?
Well, that was the incipit of the whole things, right? The idea to take a peer-to-peer network and using it to manage distributed ledger in the specific of Bitcoin. Obviously has been a great idea, and so the innovation brought in is to create singularity in a digital world, right? The possibility to have something that cannot be copied and pasted around, and in the fact of money that's an essential aspect. Satoshi Nakamoto created a small manifesto, white paper that is literally just a few pages long, and he put the principle of it, and then started with some code that on its own wasn't really great, then has been taken on by other developers, cleaned up, polished. It was more an academic take on the solution, with the spin-off on some logic part on how to do things, and some code written to do those things, more for a conceptual aspect than in a practical one.
Okay, and then considering the public reception of the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency which he created, why do you think he has so far refused to reveal his true identity?
There is a lot of people, there is a large queue of people that claim to be Satoshi Nakamoto.
Oh yeah.
And at the same time, there is a lot of people that deny to be Satoshi Nakamoto when pointed to as the possible Satoshi Nakamoto, right? Just to remind, Satoshi Nakamoto is a pseudonym being used by the creator of Bitcoin. Is it a single person or a team of people? Nobody knows. I have my own theory on who is Satoshi Nakamoto because of a lot of aspects to bring to it. There is a clear aspect that Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto and is one of the biggest people that claim to be, and surely is not. It shows from the first day that he tried to claim to be. There would be a simple way to show somebody is Satoshi Nakamoto, and is the ability to do a cryptographic signature using the keys used in the first transaction. So only the person that was there in the moment has the private key and is able to. Then legend says Satoshi Nakamoto lost the keys, throw away the computer with the keys, or maybe he still has the keys, he simply doesn't want to. If he's so paranoid on security of himself, obviously he's not keeping the keys in clear at home or in any way that can be traced back. But some technology and some methods on which the code has been written make things of a particular person being Satoshi Nakamoto.
So speaking of Craig Wright, it's a really interesting case because I think right now he's filing a case to the UK court trying to get the being recognized as the inventor of Bitcoin and get the copyright. But then how come lots of people do not believe him when he said that he was actually Nakamoto?
He's a compulsive liar, and he leverage the illiteracy of people on cryptography to demonstrate things that have no foundation when it goes down to mathematics. Obviously, journalists that give him the voice are not literate in mathematics and cryptography to the point, or in the Bitcoin technology to the point to understand at the first look that what he's saying, it doesn't make sense or is a lie. Everybody in the cypherpunk community, which is the group of mathematicians that follow cryptography, cryptographers, saw from the first day that he was acting in a way that was ridiculous. Myself, I have a dear journalist from the UK as well that followed him deeply to write a book about him. He's so convinced that the guy was Satoshi Nakamoto, and I told him many times, the guy to me is a clown. It's not possible that it's Satoshi Nakamoto, and for many reasons. He was close to the initial group of developers, that's true. He was there when things started, that's true. He mined a lot of Bitcoin and collected a lot of money for sure. Many of the claims that he's doing are surely false. And also not really in the personality of the Satoshi Nakamoto, the originally wrote many messages and things. Is a very different kind of person for what this is.
Yeah, and then like for those out there who don't really understand this on a business level, what would Wright have gained, like if he were recognized as the inventor of Bitcoin, what would be the benefits for him?
Well, he can claim royalties for the use of the invention, for example, for things that are not public, but for example, sell blockchain concept to financial institution. So there is a huge value there. He already raised a lot of value by the attention that he raised around him, and he's trying to go ahead and leverage. It's been under a lot of court cases against him as well. Judges asking him to pay taxes for all the Bitcoin that he claims he has, and he always tried to. It's funny because after telling his journalist friend for many times that this guy was a joke, and he invested a long time after him to finally realize that a lot of documents that Craig Wright produced to prove things were counterfeited, were fake. Many things, as soon as you dig 2-3 levels under, you realize they were not true. So it's being proven, it is in court of law as well, not only between journalists. So surely the guy leveraged the moment, leveraged the opportunity, and he is not even, I think, 100% on his mind when it comes to certain things. So he acts compulsively, he acts in a certain way, but surely in his positive way he brought a lot of attention to the topic, which is a good thing anyway for everybody. But I would put my arm on the fire, he is not Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah, because like based on like the interviews he gave to journalists, and then like what was being written about him, he and then seeing from his understanding of cryptography, he could not have been the inventor of Bitcoin.
The fact that he claimed that he had the proof that is him, and he tried to wrap up some signatures, he did some mashup things that boiled to nothing at the end. In fact, they also sell a t-shirt that says everybody is Satoshi Nakamoto, because that's the point of the spirit. Everybody is Satoshi Nakamoto, like Anonymous, everybody is Anonymous. Everybody is Satoshi Nakamoto, says the t-shirt, except Craig Wright. Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah. And you said like he was a compulsive liar, like had he deceived people previously before this?
There is an history of, in the community, everybody look at him and laugh. Outside the community, people don't know, and it comes up as possibly a good candidate. But there is more chances that the American guy called Satoshi Nakamoto that claim there is not him. In fact, it's just a case of same name, but there is more chances that the guy is actually Satoshi Nakamoto rather than, which is not as well.
Yeah, I think the guy's name is Dorian Nakamoto, and then I read some news about him. Is he also a programmer?
No, I think it has nothing to do. There is somebody tried to create some link. No, The real Satoshi Nakamoto is from UK, in my opinion, but he's somebody else. He's somebody called Adam Beck, and he denies to be Satoshi Nakamoto, but there is all the possible proof and things that link him to be actually Satoshi Nakamoto. Bitcoin used as central part of the mechanics for his consensus as something that was coded by him in the past. He also tried to do digital coins before. Is the CEO's Blockstream, is the second layer, is the guy that is coming out with the Lightning Network and other things on top of Bitcoin. He writes in the same style that Satoshi Nakamoto initially wrote. He's an academic, and the code that Satoshi Nakamoto wrote matched the way that he been writing code. Is good in C++, which is the language used to make Bitcoin, and there is a lot of reason to believe he is the actual Satoshi Nakamoto. Adam Beck is in crypto. He was part of the initial cypherpunk community, so he has a lot of reason to be Satoshi Nakamoto. Also, in his way to keep things private, in his way to not to want to be linked as. But in the community, people that understand this thing, everybody knows that he is Satoshi Nakamoto.
Oh, but like considering the gains that he could get from being recognized, why would he stay away from the limelight then?
Well, look at Julian Assange, look at I don't know, Edward Snowden, look at a lot of people that did amazing things for the community. What happened to them?
Oh, yes.
Even people that expose too much, look, we just lost McAfee. The guy that created the antivirus, but then later was a very interesting character, and he was in cryptos, and he died in his prison in Spain. He many times says, if comes out that I committed suicide, be sure it's not me, and then it comes out he committed suicide. So I do believe that the risk of being exposed, and probably also the personality that this guy has, leverage better to think that he wants to stay in the shadow and he wants to stay in his private life.
Yeah, because like usually people who dare to challenge authority and how things are being run are met with terrible fate. Maybe.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. And then this goes to like my next question actually. What is the political and economic implication of his true identity? Why are people so interested of who he truly is? So I mean, like in terms of the impacts that he's having.
So in the world of blockchain, it's much better if the creator of Bitcoin is anonymous, because if it's proven there is a particular person, everybody is going to look at this person and weight his decision, and it's going to centralize the growth of the cryptocurrency. Think about Ethereum with Vitalik Buterin. When the DAO, this smart contract had a bug and people were losing a lot of money, and he had a lot of money inside it, because he led the movement of Ethereum, he said, we need to do it all back, we need to change everything, and all the people changed the software of the nodes, and they changed the past history of Ethereum, because the guy that invented Ethereum said that. If there was no guy that invented Ethereum, people would have their own opinion without just following this guy. So for Bitcoin, one of the hugest values is that really there is no guy that stands there and says, hey, we need to make this change or we need to do this, because everybody will weight his opinion in order to do things. Without a figure, the lead, then there are different factions with different ideas, it's way more democratic, and this makes it much more stronger.
Yeah, I think I read a news item on CNBC yesterday which said that currently the cryptocurrency community is already divided, which can be good also, but then like if the founder of the Bitcoin came forward and then revealed his true identity, he could create a cult and co-opt the masses and then like centralize the system, which kind of cancel the whole purpose of the decentralized system itself.
That's
Yeah.
you know, like in the theory of chaos, when you get this fantastic combination that works like life on planet Earth,
Yeah.
don't compromise it because it's gonna take a wrong turn.
Yeah.
I do believe Bitcoin is fantastic the way that it is. It's fantastic that Satoshi is impossible to decide who he is and doesn't come forward proving who he is. At the same time, there are different people with different opinion. You know, there are also a lot of negative aspects on Bitcoin, which are good because this push people to do better code, better software, better version. So there is people that speculated on it. The whole ecosystem around the Bitcoin is the classic ecosystem on something that is coming up new to stay, to remain, and to become better in the future. Think about the first invention of the engine, the first invention of electricity. Think that the things that Edison did to promote electricity, you know, that he wasn't his own things, he was killing the elephant, electrocuting people, and you know, there are a lot of aspects and tumults that has to happen with a very strong, big, new invention, revolution, in order to then create it as a standard and a way that everybody knows about it. You know, if it was going to silent, nobody would know. We wouldn't be here discussing it. You know.
Yeah. But there has been also some controversies regarding the secret identity of the Bitcoin's founder, because the British YouTuber Russell Brand once commented cynically, you know, like, how can we follow a system invented by someone who could have been a robot, you know, like who is not transparent about his identity. So like Brand was questioning about the accountability of the system because you never met the inventor, blah blah blah. What's your comment about this?
This is a little bit illiterate what he says. There are two aspects in my opinion. Think that every Sunday millions of people go in a location to pray somebody that doesn't, you know, they cannot see or something.
Yeah.
This explain the people that follow the mystery are more interested people that follow the reality. And this create the fellowship of illiterate that just love the mechanics. But the difference is that while going Sunday in the location present nothing tangible, with Bitcoin there is a piece of code. Anybody that understand the coding or want to learn coding can open the piece of code and exactly see what it does. When I ride my car on the street, I don't think I want to know who's inventor of asphalt. I just ride my car on the street and I don't care, you know, like who's the person behind the indication signal or, you know, the fact the engine has oil inside or whatever. I just use it, and you know, once I know reputationally that this car works fine, I'm gonna use it, right? So there are two aspects on the fact that you want to create a cult. Think Apple with Steve Jobs, think Tesla with Elon Musk, think Microsoft with Bill Gates in a way. And things that actually are there and we don't even question things behind. So what's the most stable is the one that don't have anything linked to it, right? Is the fact that we know that concrete makes buildings with bricks, and we don't need to understand who invented the bricks, who invented the concrete, but we use them to make buildings. You know, so that's to me the big plus of Bitcoin is the idea that there is a protocol that has a logic, the protocol that must be respected, there is a peer-to-peer network. It is open to millions of possible evolution of it, and there is no need to have you don't need to trust blindly. It's open source, that's the beautiful thing. When you use Microsoft Word in your computer, there's a closed source, it's compiled, you have no idea what the code does. There can be pieces of code that do strange things and you have no idea. Bitcoin, as much as all the other blockchain software, are open source. People can read the code, can be a team, can be a university project. People can analyze, everything is clean, it's okay. You know, there is no secrecy or no need of faith on the invisible to evaluate the quality of a piece of code of a system, right?
Yeah.
So I think Russell Brand makes a comment that a lot of people may be wondering their own head, but is led by illiteracy in the specific of computer software, because
Yeah, so because like as long as it's tested and it works, then yeah,
and
no
you
matter.
can see how it works and why
Yeah,
it
yeah.
works, what can it do, what cannot do is all there in the code. It's not a mystery, right?
Yeah,
to
yeah.
have faith on.
Yeah,
It's
I
true
know.
that it's quite complicated. In fact, when it comes to consensus mechanics, proof of work, there is a lot of people that go after it in faith, in the trust on the fact that it must be the good things without understanding how does it work, right? But that's another component that is good, because you have the fellowship of people that have faith,
Oh
and
yes.
you have the fellowship of people that is critical and knows how to read. Then
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
critical
yeah.
that don't know how to read may wonder what there is to trust, but it's just because they don't know.
Yeah. And then what about the volatility of the cryptocurrency value? Like, does it also undo its significance and contribution to how societies are being run? Because
Oh.
Brands was also criticizing, the value and the hype of all these
Now,
things.
let's imagine an ecosystem where all work in Bitcoin. Okay, there is no difference, meaning that you get paid your salary in Bitcoin, you go shop for your grocery in Bitcoin, and the price is stable. So you get 1 Bitcoin for salary, and then the carrots are 0.001 Bitcoin, and so on and so forth. Okay. You will be concerned about volatility only in the moment that you are moving out and going to visit the United States, and you say, this dollar keeps changing value against the Bitcoin. So the unstable currency at the point will be the dollar, right?
The
and
fiat,
not the Bitcoin. This obviously is a paradox and is unreal in the moment that the main market, the life is made by currencies that are manipulated for good reason by central banks. Central banks print more money when the price is going up because they want to keep stable things, remove from the circulation money when they want to increase the value. So inflation, deflation are very complex mechanics. I put it down in very simple terms, but we saw that United States keep printing money. They should be backed up by gold, but they're backed up by war, by occupying and stealing resources, right? There are a lot of negative aspects behind something that can be manipulated because it's centralized toward the manipulators, right? So what is the interest in producing a certain value? With Bitcoin, is really a market aspect. How much is the demand? How much is the offer compared to other currency? If Bitcoin had the scalability to be used for very cheap in small portions, it would take much more market share when it comes to be used as normal currency. It was like this at the beginning. Once wasn't so popular. I was paying my breakfast in Bitcoin, realizing that now with the value that it reached, my breakfast being very expensive if you want. But it was a way. I got paid Bitcoin many years ago and so on, and there was the circulation. I do think that more and more people use it, less volatility there are. But if you think the economy of Bitcoin compared to the economy in other countries is small, there are smaller countries than the economy of Bitcoin as of today, but the distribution they use is not the same. More it get used, more it get distributed, the more stable it's gonna become. That's as simple as it is.
Yeah. So we should not forget to take into account the human factor, which determines how, the system works. So instead of just highlighting on the flaws of the tool, yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. It is an indicator. Price is going up, or Bitcoin is an indicator that people want it.
Yeah.
There is a saying that says there are 21 million Bitcoin maximum ever been produced, plus a lot of Bitcoin are lost because people lost the keys. I am guilty of that too. And every time somebody lose keys for Bitcoin, it's just increasing the value of the remaining Bitcoin, right? Because it creates scarcity. But there are more millionaires in the world than Bitcoin ever gonna be there. So if every millionaire in the world want to own one Bitcoin, good luck to them, because there are not enough, so they need to fight it out, which gonna make the price increase. So that's the moment the large financial institution buy billions of dollars of Bitcoin. Elon Musk with Tesla bought $1.5 billion, right? Obviously you create a scarcity that a lot of people is holding, not giving it away. So in the market there are very little, and the price goes up because people need to win the queue in order to get what is available. The moment these people dump to resell out, and then the price is gonna go down. So because there are big quantity in certain places, more the quantity are many small and distributed, harder is this big fluctuation of value.
Yeah, so like just because it has some weaknesses in its application doesn't mean we have to discard the whole thing, of course. Because
think about gold.
Yeah.
If gold was so fungible that you can transfer one side to the other of the world rather than have to bring it in a luggage, it wouldn't be much difference, right? In the moment that some company want to buy $1 billion of Bitcoin, but they cannot find people selling $1 billion of Bitcoin because everybody is using it, is holding it, is not needing to sell big quantity. That's gonna be the big day, right?
Yeah.
Now you wanna buy $10 billion of Bitcoin, you find the availability very easy. So the point is that it's still not, and probably will never, because unless you scale or change the technology behind, it's not yet distributed to the point that people has some cash and some Bitcoin in their wallet to do the daily things, right?
Okay. And now, like, I remember a week ago, like we discussed smart contracts, or 2 weeks ago, and then like we talked about Nick Szabo, and then like of course he laid the foundation for the decentralized system, which is now still evolving to be better. And I saw in some news articles, some people actually believe that he was Nakamoto. Like, could he have been Nakamoto, like Nick Szabo, the inventor of smart contract?
No. I've been pointed out as being Satoshi Nakamoto by several people. They were not joking, and no.
Yes.
People that is there from the beginning, it's people that happen to be there, and no, there must be. Honestly, Adam Beck is the guy that is the closest match to Satoshi Nakamoto. He denies it correctly. In fact, that he denies making even more close to Satoshi Nakamoto, because if he admit it, he wouldn't be matching the personality.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's one of the reasons why Craig Wright is not, because he goes against the principle of being Satoshi Nakamoto. And again, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't be the point. There is a technology. This guy, every time people praise Satoshi Nakamoto, this guy is gonna feel grateful for the praise because he knows it's him, and that should be good enough. The rest of the people look at the technology, make it better. We enter an era of a huge revolution in how systems are, information technology are being used, making things decentralized. And when you start with something that is related to money, the attention is there.
Oh yeah.
People pay attention, right?
Yeah. Okay then. So that's the end of our discussion, I guess. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and it's been a pleasure. And there will be many more Satoshi Nakamoto in the future. There are many more in terms of creator of technology that makes big changes in the way people use computers and share information to each other. So people want to stay anonymous, people want to declare who they are. What is important is the technology. What is important to see that can be trusted by looking at the code, by evaluating it, and that's pretty much all that is important in my opinion.
Does the conversation help you make sense of the Nakamoto mystery at all? maybe instead of making you understand the issue, this video has added to your confusion instead. The true identity of Satoshi Nakamoto will remain the greatest blockchain mystery never solved. I even got the goosebumps thinking that his ghost could possibly be here in the studio as we were talking about him. So I hope you can get over the scariness of this show and sleep well tonight. Until our next episode.